Alright, welcome to Three Skulls Tavern. I'm Matt, your host. Today I'm starting something a little bit different. I am going to be running Mutant Year Zero solo. I'm quite excited about this because I've tried doing some solo games in the past using Mythic GM Emulator and a couple of other various things. I've done some solo what are they called? Like choose your own adventure type of games before as well. For example, I've got the Call of Cthulhu starter set. It has a booklet which is effectively a choose your own adventure using the Call of Cthulhu rules. So I've got a very small amount of experience, and I've never run a proper game that's lasted that's lasted any length of time. Even what I would consider a full session using what's considered like traditional solo rules. Hey, Eric. So yeah, this is going to be a bit of an experience for me. Trying again. I'm vaguely aware. It's been a long time since I looked at Mythic. I'm vaguely aware of the various techniques used. Things like the chaos. I can't remember what they're all called. There's like a fate. There's like a fate table and a chaos clock in Mythic. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens here with Mutant Year Zero. Yeah. Hey, Ed. So I'm also doing this. Live. In fact, there's some people chatting right now, and it's not showing up on the stream for some reason, which is a bit odd. That was really important because let me just interact with this very quickly. That's weird. I'm gonna have to go into Stream Elements very quickly, which is the plugin I'm using. Can you see the chat? You can't see the chat on the actual. You can see it in Twitch, but yeah. The solo rules in Twilight 2000 are exciting to see as a stretch goal. So we'll see how that actually pans out as well. I may end up actually running it here as well, just to continue the solo bit. So 1 second, Stream Elements. That's the first time this has happened, where I've not had the actual chat running on the actual stream. So we'll figure it out. Hey, Tony. All right. Wow, subscribed. Thank you very much, Tony. I think that's 2 subscribers now. Woo! Awesome. That's very generous. Thank you. All right, I got to figure out why this isn't showing the chat on the little black. So on the actual video that you're looking at right now, just above my face, there's like this big black box. Right here, and there should be chat showing in that right now, but it's not. So yeah. You on the chat, you guys can't see that, can you? No. Okay. It's not even showing up here now. That's a bit shite. My overlays. Preview. Yeah, the only issues, I'm chatting with you guys, and I'm going to be uploading this to YouTube afterwards for people who want to watch it on YouTube, and they won't be able to see the chat, which to me is kind of important that people can see it in YouTube, because I've actually got more subscribers on YouTube than I do on Twitch. Let me copy the URL, just update the URL and see if that's going to fix anything. It doesn't look any different. Okay. I'm going to turn it off and turn it back on again. I know there's a stream chat showing right now, and in fact, I can show that if I need to, which it looks like I'm going to be doing. So this will be the okay. I can't get the black box to work. Ah, there we go. It's on. It's working. I have no idea what I did. I just turned it off and turned it on again. Typical IT support solution. Right. So Mutant Year Solo. I'm a big Mutant Year Zero fan. Mutant Year Zero is what got me into the Free League games. I bought this old book when it was like 3 months after it came out in English from the Modifia store. I got the full bundle, so I got all the cards and dice and all the rest of it. I also backed Gen Lab Alpha when it came out on Kickstarter, Mechatron when it came out on Kickstarter, Elysium when it came out on Kickstarter, and obviously the Grey Death came with that. And I've got every single one of the Zone compendiums as well in paper form. So I've got everything in the Mutant Year Zero line. I've run it many times. Never a full campaign, surprisingly. They've always fallen through. But yeah, I love Mutant Year Zero. So I'm quite excited to be jumping back in, and I'm quite excited to see how it works solo with these solo set of rules, which I'll be showing in a second. One thing I forgot, I'm actually going to be rolling in Discord, so I'll just be flashing up. I have a channel here I've created in my Three Skulls Tavern Discord server, and I'm just going to be rolling with Sebadius in here. So I'll be typing, for example, 4 base dice, 3 skill dice, 2 gear dice, for example. And that's going to show me all the dice exactly as they work. I can push this button to push the roll like that. It'll re-roll the thing, and there you can see I've taken 1 trauma to my attribute. So I can use this to roll, so everyone watching can actually see how the rolling works as well. And rather than having it in a sidebar, I'm just going to have everything in the middle here just to kind of flash through the different apps and stuff. Yeah. So the other thing I wanted to grab very quickly are my decks of cards, because I've got all the cards. Let me just grab them very quickly because I forgot to get them out. There's the dice in them. Right. So I've got the double deck of cards here, and I've got all the Gen Lab and Mechatron and Elysium cards too, but I'm not going to be using them at this point. I've already taken Gen Lab Alpha came with some extra mutations, but I have already removed them, and some extra artifacts and things. I've already removed them and mixed them in with the relevant decks in the core deck set. So, yeah. We'll be creating a character in a second, but first I'm going to be showing the solo. I'm just sorting through the decks here to sort out I've got this artifact deck, which is massive. In fact, I've mixed them all up anyway. So this artifact deck is like more than a single deck of cards because I've mixed it up with all the other ones. I'll be shuffling that and going through that. I have threat set of deck of cards here as well to pull up threats. And then in my Gen Lab Alpha deck, I've got my mutations. So yeah, along with the animal powers, I think. Yeah, animal powers and mutations are all together. So I've got my mutation cards as well. So I'm actually going to be drawing physical cards for this rather than rolling dice and comparing tables, just because if I've got the cards, I'm going to use them, right? Yeah. Then I'm also really dependent on you in chat to help me make some decisions. So one of the cool things about solo games is, this is obviously not completely solo because I've got an audience, but I think this could fit really well with like the Twitch streaming format. Is there are points in the story when I roll certain results and I've got to interpret what those results mean, or I have to ask specific questions of an oracle, roll the dice and see what the oracle is telling me. And it's up to me, normally in a solo game, it's up to you to interpret what those results are telling you back. But in a format like this, there can be a little bit of kind of group discussion on what the best way forward is. So I think that can be quite interesting, actually. So yeah, I'm quite excited. As you can tell, I'm kind of bubbling right now. yeah, let me just get these card decks kind of laid out where I can get to them easily. I'm not gonna. The first thing I really want to do is just draw a mutation card, but I'm gonna wait with that for a second. Okay, so let's talk about the Mutant Year Solo rules. And to do that, I'm gonna actually go here to Drive-Thru RPG, and I'm gonna look up the Mutant. There it is. So if you just type in Mutant Year Solo in Drive-Thru RPG, it's solo. Make sure you put the solo in there, not 0. It will come up with this product. It does cost $5. As you can see, I've purchased it. So Peter, I've been in touch with Peter on Discord a little bit, and I think also on MeWe, I believe. But he does a ton of solo rule sets for tons and tons and tons of different games, including things like the OSR, Savage Worlds, Forbidden Lands. There's one here, Forbidden Lands. Yeah, just tons. So none of them are free, but they're not very expensive, and it's a 16 pages. This version 1.2 I think is actually 19 pages. I'll open up the PDF in a second and start going through it. But this is what I'm going to be using to kind of guide me through Mutant Year Solo. I could have used something like Mythic GM Emulator, which I also own. There's a bunch of other ones like the Universal NPC Emulator, which I also quite like, but I've never actually used. But I think this is interesting because it's actually specifically tailored for Mutant Year Zero. Now, going through it, a lot of the tables and things are fairly generic, and I believe there's probably, I would guess that there are probably some tables copied from some of the other solo games that Peter's written. However, there are a lot of, you can tell that he's actually played Mutant Year Zero. He's given advice for, we'll go into it, like how to do a solo, how to give yourself an XP boost in the game so that you are not starting off as a sort of beginning character. So you're basically meant to be playing this solo, as in a solo PC, and not solo, but with a full group of PCs. So you want to just be controlling one person, and because this game is quite brutal, you need to give yourself an XP boost just so you're not murdered or destroyed the first time you step foot outside of the Ark. Hey Attila. So yeah, this is the game I'm going to be using. I'm going to close this down. I have here a Google Sheets thing to track the campaign. So I have a PC sheet which I'm going to be filling in as I'm creating a character. As I come across NPCs, I'm going to start tracking them in here. And then I've also got a journal where I'm going to be going over things that happen. I'm going to be keeping this in kind of bullet form, I think, rather than writing it out. For a bit of info, here's some other links to things. I'm actually going to share this Mutant Year Solo sheet so people can look at it. So if I go here, share, get the link, copy the link, change it to anyone can comment. I don't mind people commenting. I'm going to copy that link, hit done, and then I'm going to paste it in here. That's a long link. I'll do a redirect for it later, so when actually this goes up on YouTube, if you look in the description below, if you're watching this on YouTube, there will be a tidied link to this spreadsheet, so you can go look at it. Some of the other things I'm going to be using, Miro is this collaborative whiteboard here, so I'm going to share a link to that. I'm also using Find My Path, which is an amazing random generating zone map thing, which we'll be looking at as I set that up. I have actually used this for a play-by-post game in the past, which never got past the sort of first encounter, as the group kind of fell apart. But it's really great. I really like this. Steph Ouch, who's I've met actually in real life as well. He has also made Sabadius, which is this amazing Discord dice roller. So he's created some really excellent resources for Mutant Year Zero, and I'm definitely going to be using this for my game. Because it randomly, when I enter a zone, I don't have to actually roll in the books. I can just click on a zone and I can randomly generate everything that's inside. Right, then I have an NPC generator using Perchance, and I have a junk generator. So if I want to generate 5 pieces of junk and scavenge, I've got stuff straight out of the book. IR sensors, a cheesy romance novel, a stapler with 36 staples, partial control panel for a military vehicle, and a teddy bear, for example. So anytime I'm scavenging and I come across junk, there's a D666 table in the Mutant Year Zero book, but I don't need to roll on that. I can just do this very quickly here. Whew. Yeah, So, who else we got? Magnus, welcome. I've got quite a big group here, and all people I recognize, which is cool. I've actually been posting this and pasting this link all over the internet. Yeah, in places I wouldn't normally. So, like in some of the solo groups on MeWe, for example. Yeah, on Reddit, etc. So I'm expecting maybe potentially a few extra people here who haven't seen before. But yeah, right. So that's my setup. That's what it's going to look like. I might be opening some other resources online if I think of some I need to look up. But for the most part, I think this should cover me. If I switch over to Adobe Acrobat, then I have the core rulebook here, which is the latest version 4. Version 4 introduces a few major changes to the game. Most notably, the slave has been renamed the Grunt. There was a lot of talk about whether this was a PC decision by Free League to do that. I don't actually believe it was. We haven't actually had an answer to that. I believe the reason is because it was a little bit confusing before. Some of the NPC groups you come across in the zone have slaves. They keep slaves, and there was always a bit of a question like, what does that mean exactly? If a slave is a role or a career or whatever, I can't remember what it's called in this one. Anyway, your role, I think it is. So if there's a slave role, what does that mean with slaves who you come across? So does that mean anyone who's a slave in this other part of this other group? Does that mean they could technically have some of the same talents? No, it doesn't mean that at all. So I think to remove some of that kind of ambiguity, they've renamed it Grunt. That's what I tell myself anyway, because there's also, even though it's been renamed here, you still find, if you do Control F for slave, you'll still find mention of slave throughout the book. So here, like the Kingpin treats most of his underlings as little more than slaves, etc. So anyway, slavery is still a thing in the setting. It's not been sanitized out of it. It's just that you're now called a grunt, which I find quite fine. Anyway, this is the latest version of the rules, version 4. So I'm going to be using this. It has all the latest updates to the rules changes and stuff. My physical copy of the book is version 1, so I'm not really going to be using that. Right, and then I've got the solo rules here. I'm going to flick through this fairly quickly. Basically, it talks a little bit at the beginning about how solo play works, that you ask questions. It's very important to ask yes or no questions if you can. So try and think of them in those ways. It does say here that anytime you're asking a question, you actually roll 6d6, and you're using base dice, and you look for the symbols that come up here. So if you get the radiation symbol, 1, 2, or 3 of them means, so that's a 6, that's a success. So the more you get of them, the better the success, so to speak. And if you get any of the biohazard symbols, which are the 1s, they mean no, and they cancel each other out. This is the bottom saying here, so you get some net results. And if it's a complete wash, you don't get any symbols, or the symbols cancel each other out, you get a complication, which is really interesting. And that's when a complication is something changes, the original question is no longer like relevant or valid, and it can be anything. It can be positive, negative, big, small, whatever. And there's some examples given here, but that's basically it. Open-ended questions. Sometimes you want to ask a question about something. There's an example here saying you're trying to overhear a conversation for two like kind of thugs in a bar. So you roll basically 2d6, and you get this 2 to 12, like 11 results here that you kind of look at, and then you roll d66 to get a result, another result, and you add those together. And the example here is he's rolled an 8. Followed by a 23, which is intuitive and haggling. And he's interpreted that to mean they've stolen something, but they're trying to guess how much. They're not exactly sure what it is, and they're trying to decide how much they should try and ask for it. A different result could be getting a 6 and a 61, which would be plotting and cruelty, which would be obviously much more of a sinister result. So anyway, so these tables I'll be copying into Miro, which is going to be where I'm going to keep most of my solo stuff. NPC reactions, if you want to roll for friendly, neutral, hostile reactions, you can roll a d6. Yeah, so this kind of shows you what the demeanor is for the NPCs. Hey, Ed, no worries, mate. record keeping, keeping a journal. Then this is the bit here, surviving solo. And this little call out box here basically says that you should develop your mutants as it is in the book, but then you should add an extra starting pool of 25 XP. It says you should develop your mutant with a starting pool of 25 XP that you can spend before the game starts. That allows you to take 5 advances, because every skill advance, it costs 5 XP. Every talent or new talent that you take also costs 5 XP. So that should give a little sizable bump to the starting character. Hey, Fenhorn. Right. And then it's basically talking here, the rest of it is talking about, you run them in scenes, so it says you typically identify when a scene starts and ends by when you've skipped a block of time. We'll see how that goes. I'm mostly going to be building this up here, creating the character, and probably doing a little bit of roleplay in the arc and see what happens there. We've got an NPC list, which talks about, tables for creating quick NPCs and generic stock NPCs. Again, I have an online table for that, which I can use. Plot lists. The most exciting list, it says you need to start with at least 1 plot. Chapter 9 has a pair of handy random tables for creating arc plots and zone plots. I also have the threat cards, which I can also use. So if I take the first one off here, I haven't actually shuffled these. It says the last drop. The water source in the arc fails, the well has gone dry, the water purifier breaks down, or the cistern bursts. Whatever the reason, it's a disaster. Yeah. And so that would mean I would probably be going out into the zone looking for a source of fresh water. So pretty straightforward, right? I'm going to be easing myself into this. I'm going to be probably trying to just run with the threats, running with whatever makes the most sense, and I can gradually build up more and more complicated plots and things as time goes on. Housekeeping, it says at the end of a session, you can spend a few minutes looking over your plot list and try and see if any plots could be related. Maybe they have a location in common, an NPC. If you find a connection, take a highlighter and group them. Take a minute to think about what could be happening in your world behind the scenes. Have you had more than one instance of sabotage in the arc? Is a particular place appearing to have more than the expected number of criminal patrons, etc., etc. So the idea here is you're looking for connections all the time between things. You're kind of bringing plots to the forefront. You're running with the plots, and you're trying to develop them on your own. And that's a really important thing when it comes to solo gaming. Progress clocks are not a natural part of Mutant Year Zero. I know what they are. How are these worked out here? So, I mean, instead of using a clock, I can just use a tracker in my Excel sheet if I need to track progress. When you're keeping track of unused plots on your story list, if you connect 2, you can add a clock to the connected plot line. Okay. How many segments will depend on your idea? Okay, so I might do that, maybe not today, but probably in a future session. So here we have section 2 is talking about typical NPC stats and random generation of NPCs. This is all straight out of the book, it looks like, because I've got all this stuff, so I don't need to really look at that. So it looks like most of these are just tables now. I've got random names, so I could potentially use that. In fact, I'm gonna snip that very quickly. I'm gonna save that. But there is a, yeah. I mean, I've got this NPC generator I can use. Random threat table. I have the cards for that, so I mean, this is kind of interesting. The last drop is on there, right? So this is probably just pulled straight out of the threats. So this is threats against the arc. I'm not sure. I think these threats here have are not just arc. They could be zone threats as well. Zone fever, for example. I don't think that's in here. Oh, it is on there. You know what? Fuck it. I've got all these cards. I'm going to use the cards. I'm not going to read through this. It's got new ones on here, though. This is the interesting thing, right? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm not going to use them for now. I might look at using them, printing off some... I don't know. I want to use cards, so I might not do that. It's talking about how to use the zone. That's fine. Adventures. I'm going to ignore all that. I'm just going to kind of make it go. What makes it special? And then we've got here the kind of the scene list. So this is something I want to kind of copy over into my Google Sheet. Location, action, NPC. So what happens in the scene, the entrance, the exit. Here's an NPC list. So I've got an NPC thing there, a plot list, and then that's kind of it. What comes next? Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so what I want to add here is I've got the journal, but I've also want to add here a scenes list. Yeah, I think I'm just kind of wondering whether I want to do that. I'm going to rename journal into scenes. And I think I'm good to go, right? Scenes, NPCs, and what was the last one? Plots. Yeah, I'll do a plot thing as well. Plots. Alright, this is going to look a bit rough until I actually get going a little bit more. Yeah, Fenhorn, exactly the same here. I've not played it in a long time, so I'm also looking forward to doing it. Okay, so character creation. Character creation in Mutant Year Zero is pretty straightforward. Again, because this is solo, I'm going to be giving myself, as the solo rules suggest, 25 XP, starting XP as well. It recommends only using one character, one PC as well, not doing a group, and it basically makes the most sense to me to use a stalker. Stalkers are intended to be loners. That's kind of their bit of fluff in the setting. They're the ones who go out and look for. They scavenge out in the zone, and it often talks about them being like they'll go out on their own into the zone as well. So I really like that. I'm gonna play a stalker. One of the other options I did think about was playing a boss, because a boss has some NPCs that go with them, and I could then have. For example, a boss with a stalker and a grunt. So I could have like two, GMPCs, or two, what do they call in D&D? Companions, is that what they call them? Anyway, so I could do something like that as well, but I'm gonna go with the rules as presented in the solo rulebook, and I'm going to try it with a single PC. If this single PC gets destroyed very quickly, then fair enough. I might roll up a boss and try this again next time. So I'm going to jump ahead here to Stalker. We're going to look at what it says here in terms of. I'm going to just zoom in a little bit, and I want to do scrolling here so it doesn't just jump me to the next page. Typical names. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to roll a D10. I'm going to roll it with Sabadius. So roll D10. Let's see if it actually will do a D10 for me. And it's roll a 4. Henchman. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hamed. So my PC's name is going to be Hamed. I'm a young adult. We're all young adults. We're all the same age in the arc. My role is a stalker. Mutations. Got my mutation deck. I'm going to do one mutation, I think, to start off with, because I don't want to take any attribute damage. In the solo game, I want to keep myself as healthy as possible. Whew. Yeah, strength 4. Pretty much. I don't think I'm going to do strength 2. Alright, so. Whoa. Let's put those insectoid and frog legs back in there. Let's mix them up a little bit more. Alright, so I'm just going to take the first one off the deck. I'm not going to reshuffle, I'm not going to re-choose, and that's going to be what I go for. Actually, one of my homebrew tweaks to Mutant Year Zero is you draw your mutation first in character creation, and that, because your mutation is something that you've had your whole life growing up, right? And the idea would be that should kind of inform the type of role you would fill in the arc, because sometimes some of the roles and the mutations don't really gel very well together. And that's been a tweak. I've only started using it like the last 2 games I've run of Mutant Year Zero. That's been a very, very successful tweak. Anyway, here's what I've got. Sonar. Interesting. I'm familiar with Sonar, actually, but I'll read it anyway. In fact, I think I've had this. 2 of my players have had this in previous games. Sonar. By emitting a high-frequency sound and listening to its echoes, you can sense your surroundings and effectively see in total darkness for a few minutes. Very useful. At the cost of 1 mutation point. I can stun enemies up to short range. A number of victims equal to the amount of mutation points spent suffer 1 point of fatigue each. Or I can disrupt an enemy at up to short range who is shooting. Every MP I spend, mutation point I spend, eliminates 1 success that person has rolled. This is very powerful and really good defensive sort of trait for a solo PC. So I'm actually really happy with that. So I'm going to write Sonar. I'm going to put Sonar down here as my mutation. Face, I'm just going to look at some of the suggestions here. I'm just going to go run with whatever we got in here just to keep it moving fast. Appearance, face. Hidden under a hood, scarred. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm not sure this is actually working with the proper D10, so I'm going to actually use sidekick for the non... a 1. So I'm hidden. My face is hidden under a hood. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 3, and how many have we got in the last one? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm quite happy to invent this sort of stuff as well, but for me, part of the fun of doing a solo game is using as many of the random table, like converting things to random tables, using random tables as much as possible, which is why I'm doing it like this. So I've got a 1, 3, and 3. So I'm going to take the first, the third, and the third. So I'm hid. My face is hidden under a hood. I'm muscular, and I'm wearing camouflage gear. Okay, probably not something I would go for myself. I don't tend to play those types, but anyway, my face is hidden under a cloak. Is that what it said? Cloak? A hood. Body is muscular, and my clothes are camo. All right. I'm gonna have to double check. I've played so many bloody Year Zero games recently. Can't remember how many attributes I start off with. I think it's 14. 14. So I get 14 points across the 4 attribute scores, and I get 10 skills to start off with. So I'm gonna leave this open here. So 14 points across. The general rules are you can't go you can't go under 2, and you can't go higher than 5 usually, but I don't usually put 5 in. I usually do 4. So for me, the kind of sweet spot is doing 4, 4, 3, 3. That's a fairly generally like well balanced character. 5, 3, 3, 3 also works, but yeah, I'm gonna go 4, 4, 3, 3. I think. So strength is definitely going to be a 4. Also, I don't have Shake It Off. I've actually converted this from a previous game, so let me just clear the note there. I'll put this. In fact, I need to double check what the Stalker has for Find the Path, what it's linked to. It's not there. Skills, specialist skills. Agility, right, okay. All right. So agility, it's Find the Path. I'm gonna put 2 in that straight away. I'm gonna put 4 in agility. So I'm basically because I'm also muscular. I'm kind of wanting to put 4 in strength. It's also gonna make me a little bit more capable in a solo game. I'm gonna put 3 in wits and 3 in empathy. I mean, I could put 2 in empathy, but because I'm a loner. But I don't really want to have a dump stat. I want to give myself plenty of options here. So I get 10 skill points to start off with. I put 2 in Find the Path. I might even put 3 in there, because that's going to be important. I'm definitely going to put at least 1 into Fight. Yeah, definitely. Any thoughts on skill spread for a solo game where I'm going to be out on my own? I'm just going to close my window because I got mosquitoes flying in and bite my legs. Hey Attila, see ya if you're still there. Thanks for tuning in for a bit. Oh, so I've got a little dance of a fly versus a spider happening above me. Sneak and move, yeah, move's always a good one for getting away. Sneak's always good. Shoot, I should probably put 1 in shoot, 1 in fight. So what have I got there? I've got 5, 8, 9. I can do 1 more. Know the zone is going to be good. Scout is going to be good. Heal. Fuck yeah. I mean, Jesus. I'm gonna have to. You know what? I've got 25 extra XP. I might just put them all in skills for now. That might be the most sensible thing, and give myself 5 extra skill points. I'm gonna start with 4. We'll start with 4 extra. So I'm gonna do 14 skill points and maybe take 1 extra talent. I'm going to leave manipulation as it is. Heal, I think I'm going to leave. Sense of motion, I think I'm going to leave. I'm going to dump all these empathy stats. Might put 1 in heal, but I'll get 3 dice anyway. Yeah. So I want 1. I want 2 in Know the Zone, I think. Definitely want 1 or 2 in Scout. 3 in Find the Path. 1 in Shoot. 2 in Move. 2 in Sneak. Endure is going to be important as well. Okay, what have I got here then? I've got 2, 4, 6, 14. That's 14 right there. So I'm gonna stick with it. I'm gonna stick with it. Okay. Yeah, but I'm thinking if I find artifacts, I might actually bring them back to the Ark and have somebody, like, you know, have a bit of an interaction with an NPC to help me comprehend things, like have to pay them for it. I think that makes sense for me in the fiction as well. So rather than putting the numbers in there, I'm all about finding stuff, I think. Right, that's how I'm gonna keep my skill spread here. I put 1 in Know the Zone. No, I'm gonna leave 2 in there. I'm just thinking about putting healing in because the healing is gonna be important. Yep. There we go. I've got 1 in Fight and 1 in Shoot, which isn't that brilliant. Yeah. I mean, I'll have my scrap rifle. I might not. No, I'm thinking I might try and I might make myself have some sort of like NPC friend who can like look at stuff on the sly before I actually have to hand it back to the whatever it's called. Is it like a library that the chroniclers keep of artifacts that are brought back? I can also try and I can roll comprehend without having any skill points in it. It's just it's only 3 dice. Yep. But it's fine. It's fine. So let's go back to here. I've distributed 10 points plus 4 from the starting stuff. Choosing a talent, I've already drawn a mutation. So I'm going to go down to talents now. Looking at Stalker's talents. Monster Hunter, I get +2 when I scout a beast of any kind. Nope. Rot Finder, probably. Because Rot is going to kill me really quickly if I don't have Rot Finder. Rot Finder is really, really important for a scavenger, for a stalker to have in this game. Scavenger is quite good as well to find extra artifacts. But Rot's going to be even more important. In fact, Rot's going to be a little bit interesting because I'm going to know what the Rot level is by like having to roll for it. It's going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. Nah, that's fine. So, talents. Is it Rot Finder? Is that what it's called? Right, there's my talent. I get 1 extra talent, or possibly 1 extra skill point. I'm going to have a look at... So, I mean, Scavenger is quite good as well for finding artifacts. So I might actually take that as a second one. But I'm going to look at the general talents here. And just see if anything jumps out at me. Admirer, no. Archaeologist, no. Assassin, no. In fact, before I do this, let me look at my equipment. So I go to Stalker... gear. Choose one of the following starting weapons. A scrap rifle. Okay, so let me roll for all of my starting stuff. D6 bullets, D6 grub, 2d6 water. Okay, so I'm gonna roll using Sabadius. Roll, and we're gonna do 4d6. I think this splits them all out. So lovely. Oh, that's really nice. So D6 bullets, I got 5 bullets, I've got 8 rations of grub and 4 rations of water. And in fact, grub and water come in, they weigh one bit of, a whole unit on your encumbrance sheet is 4 units of each. So that actually makes it really easy to track as well, which is going to be quite useful. So, yeah, so I'm going to put here 8 grub, 4 water, and 5 bullets. And up here on gear, I'm going to put... grub times 4 actually, so I can just change that number when I need to. Water times 4, and that's it for now. My encumbrance is 8, so I'm gonna actually gray these out. I can't actually take more, but then I'm encumbered. All right. I mean, I have a den, and I could stash. I mean, for example, I could probably, in fact, I will probably stash one thing of grub in the in my den. Grub times 4. All right. So the weapon is the other thing I wanted to look at here. I can choose one of these weapons. I can have a scrap rifle, which uses bullets, which is also currency. I can have a scrap pistol, a bow with 5 arrows, or I can buy extra gear with my bullets. With 5 bullets, it's not a lot. And it looks like I've done this wrong. I have 2d6 rations of water, not 2d6 rations of grub. So let me just change that quickly. This is not grub, it's water. And we'll swap these around. Hey, it's my solo game, Fenhorn. I can change the fiction however I want, right? Why can't I have an NPC who's gonna give me who's gonna, like, for a cost, he's gonna not tell anyone that I found a plasma rifle. I'll just keep it. I'm not sure I want to change the fiction too much just to suit my skill choices, but yeah. I'm gonna put 2 in here and 1 in. I'm gonna do 1 in comprehend because I think artifacts are important. If I come across one, it could be useful to use while I'm out in the zone as well. Could mean the difference between survival and not surviving. So I think it kind of makes sense to put at least 1 point in there. So I'm kind of spreading myself out pretty thin here, but I think that's fine. And I think scouting is more important than comprehend here. It's also only 1 extra dice. It's not going to make a huge amount of difference. Because I could roll it again without the extra skill point. So let me just think what I was going to do next. Talents, right? I was going to look at my talents. I was going to think about what I wanted for gear, and I'm kind of umming and ahhing between a rifle and a bow. Yeah, let's look at the weapons very quickly. Melee's there, ranged here. Bow is bonus +1, damage 1, long. It's obviously silent. A scrap pistol does 2 damage. A scrap rifle does 2 damage. But they're all bonus 1, which means if I get a single explosion on my gear dice, then it's broken. So pushing is really gonna fuck me around. Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with a bow. I'm gonna go with a bow for now. It's also silent, which is gonna be better for sneaking around. So I'm gonna add my bow here. I'm going to add under bullets. I'm just gonna copy and paste here and put arrows. And I think it said I started with 5, was it, or 10? I can't remember. What did it say? What do I have to roll for it? Stalker. 5 arrows. Okay, so I've already got 5 in there. That's fine. Okay, talents then. So I've not got a rifle or anything like that. I've got a bow. Talents. Let's look at these general talents again. Bad omens. I can scout using empathy instead of wits. Isn't going to be any good for me. Bodyguard is diving in to save somebody else, which isn't applicable. I can get grub from a carcass, so butcher might be interesting to get grub from a carcass of an animal or of a monster in the zone that I've killed, it looks like. It doesn't work on swarms, and it will be contaminated by rot, so it's a good idea to combine it with zone cook. Zone cook could be really good for survival, actually. Oh, yeah. That might be a good place to start. I might want to do 3 talents, thinking about this. Combat veteran, I can roll 2 dice for initiative, which means I'd be more likely to go first, which would be good. But yeah. Cool head, move with wits instead of agility, no. Counselor, no. Coward. Fast draw, no. Flyweight, no. Gadgeteer. Jack of all trades is a way to, like, sort of multi-class into something else, but I'm going to skip that. Light Eater is interesting as well because it makes my grub last longer. I only need to eat 1 ration every other day to avoid losing strength. Yeah, I remember Zone Cook being like the very, very vital one for people who are in the zone a lot. I'm definitely taking Zone Cook. It's more a case of whether I want to take another one as well. Um, pack mule, for example, could be really useful. I'm by myself. If I find a lot of stuff, I'm going to be over encumbered pretty quickly. I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to take pack mule. I'm going to take zone cook. Yeah. And I'll reduce one of my skills by one. So zone cook, the note here is that. Roll to know the zone. Every 6 rolled purifies D6 rations. Know the zone. I've only put 1 in there. I've got to reduce 1 anyway. I'm going to reduce, I think sneaking's going to be pretty important. I'm going to reduce scout by 1. So I've got 1 in scout, 1 in comprehend, and 1 in know the zone. Yeah, and then I'm going to take pack mule. Pack mule is just simply can carry twice the normal weight. And then here in this cell I'm going to do B11 times 4. So I can carry 16 things. This is going to mess up my thing here a bit. So I'm just going to make this into... do it like this. Yeah. Cool. Right. Right. Let's finish off then. Last bits about my character. Attributes, relationships, big dream, gear, all the rest of that stuff. Describe my den. Create the arc as well. It's gonna be interesting. So stalker, relationships to other PCs. There aren't going to be any other PCs for now, so this can be skipped. Other NPCs. Who do I hate? Again, I'm gonna roll here for both of these things. I'm gonna roll 2d3. Using sidekick. So roll 2d3. A 1 and a 3. So I hate the stalker Yasan because he went deeper into the zone than me. Okay, interesting. So here we've got our first my first NPC, Yasan. We're going to put name here. We're going to put role, location. Role is stalker, arc. Alright, what else have we got? That was number 1, and number 3, the PC I need to protect, is... no one! That's not going to be great for earning XP. I think it's be more interesting if I actually have actual named PCs for NPCs for all these, because I don't have any other PCs to work with. Alright, I'm going to go with the Gearhead Pontiac, and I think this is also going to be the person who I'm going to be coming back to it says a pain in the neck, which is also going to be fun for role-playing purposes. And a Gearhead's going to be important for me bringing stuff back. This is going to be my kind of black market connection, I think. So, I'm going to stick with those. I can't adopt it and play, yep. My big dream... yeah, I think this first one, I'm just going to stick with that. I'm going to find Eden. I think that's more or less it. Yep. Relationships are done. Big dreams done. My gear is done. Create the arc. Describe my den. So chapter 7, arc. I don't actually have an arc sheet, which is kind of interesting. Um, so, type of arc. Oh, I've got to decide on what map I want to use as well. That's kind of important. I wanted to actually do this with people in chat. Yeah. So, any ideas on maps? I'm actually gonna show you the maps I've got here because I've got quite a few. Here's my map folder. I've got some Swedish maps which I was slowly translating into English. I've only translated Stockholm into English, which is this one, and this is actually a map that we were gonna play with in a campaign I was trying to run, which I'd kind of quite like to do. The ocean, yeah, that would be an interesting challenge, but I'm not going to start with the ocean. I could play with one near an ocean, like I could do New York. New York has a lot of water around it. That's actually why I really like Stockholm as well, because Stockholm has all these islands. It's like 13 islands in Stockholm, so there's plenty of opportunity for lots of water-based things. I can get out. What's it called? Dead Blue Sea, is it called? I think. Yeah, it's really cool. One of my favorite zone compendiums here, Dead Blue Sea. So there's some stuff in there I could use for ocean-based stuff. So I think keeping it near an ocean is definitely important. But let's look at what else we've got here. London, I'm gonna leave. I haven't done Göteborg, or however you pronounce that exactly. Gothenburg. That also kind of looks quite interesting, I think. What else we got? I've got Orlando. I have Tokyo. Now, Tokyo would be a problem because I don't actually know much about Tokyo. I guess I don't really need to, but it's got the water there. It could be kind of interesting. Or I can do Minden, which is the local town for where I live here. So I made this map myself. Yeah, I've played it. I've played a couple of sessions with the local group before they decided they didn't like Mutant Year Zero, the bastards, and they didn't play it again. Hey, a mediocre dad. You do know Tokyo. Yeah. I mean, I can learn about Tokyo. I can look shit up as well if I'm playing in the future and you can't make a session. I'm torn between, yeah, and I mean I was gonna do Stockholm as well, so it doesn't really matter too much, I guess. Yeah, I think let's do Tokyo. Let me just think if there are any other maps I can think of. I've got a fan one here of Detroit. There are more actually. Where are they? What was this one? That's Orlando. That is Tokyo. Oh, that's it. Orlando and Tokyo. Right, okay. Fuck it, I'm gonna do it. Tokyo's on a 1. Yeah. Stockholm is very, 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 very. I mean, it's a Swedish game. Playing in Sweden would be kind of fun. But I'm gonna roll D3, and I'm gonna use Tony's suggestion there of if I roll a 1, it's Tokyo, a 2, it's New York, and a 3, it's Stockholm. I don't want to play New York. I'm gonna roll D2. On a 1, it's I can just flip a coin. On a 1, it's Tokyo. On a 2, it's Stockholm. Stockholm. There we go. Nice and easy. Sorry, a mediocre dad. Letting the dice decide a little bit there. Okay, cool. So Stockholm in English. I guess this is kind of nice to showcase this as well because people don't know that this is available in English. This was originally, if I show you the previous one, how do I zoom back to normal? This is the actual original. This is, as you can see, the writing is in Swedish. I asked Free League if I could translate it into English and then share it with the communities, and they said yes. So this is what I've created. I've translated it all, and yeah, pretty happy with how it's come out, and I think by using it, it's also going to show people that this exists if they want to use it. I can even provide a link to it in the in my show notes. So we're going to use the English Stockholm map. How big is that thing? Big. All right. So the first thing I'm going to do here before I go any further is I'm going to go into Find My Path. I'm going to create a new map. I'm going to call it Stockholm. I'm going to call it Three Skulls Tavern Solo Stockholm. There we go. The width of this map, I need to check that again, actually. It's kind of important. Is 30 across, and we've got, oh god, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 21. It's 30 by 21. 30 by 21. Game is version 4 in English. What other languages are available? Wow. French, Swedish, Spanish, Portuguese, and Russian, looks like. All right, cool. Create. Then I'm going to go into options. I'm going to hit background. I'm going to choose my image file. I'm going to go to role-playing, Year Zero engine, Mutant Year Zero, maps, and I'm going to go for the big one, I think. Yeah. Open. Use. It's not lined up perfectly. I need to fix the placement here. So the top needs to come down a bit to 0, I think. Let's try 0. Perfect. And the left, I think I actually made this so it's perfectly aligned. Nope. Looking good. Perfectly. Oh, it's not perfectly. Look over here. It's lined up nicely over here, but not over there. That's interesting. Why is that? Whoops. The width. Oh, I can adjust the height of this in pixels. All right. What did I have here? 4,000 by 2829. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, that looks... that's not what I wanted to do. 1414. Sorry about this. Why is it not working? So I've got my first section there. It doesn't look like it's lined up properly. So let me just bring that over a bit. Have I not got right the number? I should have 30 squares here, and it's only showing me 29. It's got me 29. It's got given me 29 squares instead of... Okay, so something's gone wrong here. I'll try this again. Create new map. 30 is the maximum. It's interesting. By 21. Three Skulls Tavern Solo Stockholm. Stefouch has actually been on this before, so I'm kind of wondering if he's going to show up. Okay, I've got 30 here now. Oh, it's only 29. No, it's 30. Definitely got 30 here. Let me now bring this background in. And let's use this smaller one, because I think I trimmed this one a bit. 2,000 by 1415. 2,000. Before I change that. Okay, it's gone over to 30, which is good. Okay. This is looking okay. This is looking like it's lined up, actually. It's still doing this weird thing where they're starting off to the left and then they're going off to the right, which is a very, very weird thing for it to be doing. So let me just try and fix the width here again. 1415 I said, didn't I? 2,000 by 1415. And now it's changed it to have 29 instead of 30 for some reason, which is making it even worse. Alright, I'm not going to fuck around with the width here. I apologize, I know this is really boring. Look, it's only giving me, it's showing me 20, okay. It's this 29 is the actual map, so it's not fitting the whole map on here for some reason. Okay, so let's go with 1800. I'll make that a bit bigger. We'll go with 1900 and 20. Let's bump that up ever so slightly. Okay. Et voila. Okay, so I can actually shuffle it around a little bit by just changing the size of it. Okay, there we go. The top is going to be 0, and we're going to make the height also bring that down. Okay, this works. There we go. More or less a well gridded map. Okay, perfect. Whew. Okay, I'm going to switch it off. I'm going to hit save, and I'm going to put my name in here. It's minifying and compressing it. That's fine. I don't mind that. All right, and I think that's it. So I'm going to quickly save that. And I'm just going to try something here. Open existing map. Where's that JSON file? Download. Nothing there. 2018 was the last time I tried this. Okay, so it didn't actually download that when I hit save, which is interesting. I think I know why. I think it's because I've got this disable privacy badger. So I'm going to leave the page, reload it. Hopefully... Shit. Load last map. God damn it. There it is! Let's go back. We're going... Okay, that's why it didn't save it before, because I had I've got this privacy app, and it often causes me problems. Let's see if that's going to load it. Please work. It didn't work. Shit. Apologies. We'll get this. Do this again. I actually know what I'm doing now this time. So use that 0 0. It's lined up. It's kept my settings. Perfect. Save. Let me please download this. Why is it not downloading? All right. I have to hit download the. Oh my god. Right. Apologies. Right. Where am I going to put my arc? What kind of arc am I going to have? Last time I started, I thought it was quite nice. Was having it down here, sort of this region down here. So I think I'm going to keep that. So we're gonna right click on this one. We're going to call this arc, the arc sector. Change it to be the home button. I guess that one. Is there a house? That one. It's the arc. It's been explored. It's considered having no rot in the arc. It's got no threat. There are no threats in the arc. Type is arc. So the K is it? I thought it was a C. Anyway. No notes. Environment. We'll figure that out. Classified field. Meh. Ruins. Description. Mood. And we'll just turn all this shit off. Save. Okay. So let's turn this off. There's my arc. Let's figure out what kind of arc this is then. So let's go back to the rulebook, and here's the arc. So, any thoughts on yeah, what kind of arc I should have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Let's roll D15, shall we? As I've been doing. Number 11. So that's 15, 14, 13, 12, 11. Shipwreck. I'm not near the fucking ocean! Where am I? There's water right here. Right here, we're gonna move the arc. Now I'm gonna keep it on. I like the idea of a shipwreck a lot, actually. So we can say I'm just gonna move it one bit over to the left here and put the ship. This looks like docks here, sort of next to it. So we can say there was like a ship in there and it was trying to leave and it sank or something. So it's just like the wreck of a ship. There, it would make more sense to have it up here where the actual like ocean is. I've got even a ship grave section over here. So I could actually start it. I could just start at the top of the map and be landlocked a little bit, which would be interesting. I think so. Yes, I think it is. I'm gonna delete this. I'm gonna put it up here. I'm gonna put my shipwreck right here. Right where? Right. Right here. I'll put it in this. It's supposed to be the center of the map. All right. I don't want to look I try not to look at things too much. So I don't. There's a lot of stuff going on here. It's just like the center of Stockholm. I don't want to be in the center of Stockholm. I want to go explore that. So we'll go here. MO9. You can put it in the center of the map. It doesn't have to be. That's it. I think that's according to the rules. Zone location. Determine what kind of zone it is. Blah 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 blah. The zone map has a square grid. Time to look closer at the arc. Arc position. Don't put it right in the middle. It is recommended to place it near the sea, a river, or a large lake. So I'm not putting it in the middle. I'm going to do what I usually do, which is put it at the edge of the map. So I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to put it here in B21. So I'm going to delete everything in here. Does that remove it completely? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to put it in here and call it arc. No, we're just going to leave it like that. Home. Nope. Why is that not visible? Explored. There we go. Save. Okay, here's my arc. In fact, I'm going to rename this. I'm going to change this to a ship if I can. There's a boat there. That'll do. Oh, you really can't see that, huh? Can't change the color, I don't think. Doesn't matter. Okay. This is more session 0. In fact, on my stream, it should say session 1. I'm going to hit session 0. I was kind of saying it might be session 0, session 1 when I was kind of doing stuff online about it. Anyway, so there's my zone. It's a ship, which I kind of like the idea of a shipwreck. The arc map. Draw my map of the arc. And I think, as Fenhorn said, that there is actually one in the book, so I might just use that. If I go to zone maps, not zone maps, it's the player maps one. That one there. That's the bad boy I'm going to be using right there. All right. Handouts. Starter book too. I've actually looked in the starter book. I think there's one in Dead Blue Sea too, actually. So I have looked at that one. I'll look at the starter book. The Animal Tower. Ah, yeah. Yeah. It's like a cruise ship that's crashed. I prefer that to the kind of military looking one, so I think I'll use that. Why not? Cruise ship. A shipwrecked cruise ship. Sounds good. Sounds good to me. So my den is going to be... Any ideas for a den on a cruise ship that's been crashed? I don't know yet. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. I'm going to go with... where is it? Starter booklets. Not the reduced version, the full fat version. Interesting. I've not actually looked at this one at all. So here's the player map. So I'm going to zoom in on that a little bit. In fact, what page is this on? Page 23 of the PDF. So if I open up Photoshop, I can actually open this in Photoshop. Navigate to page 23. There we go. We want it in nice and big, I guess. Pixel size, fairly big. And then I can just crop around that to make it how I want it. Going to 100%. Looking good. Looking good. All right, so let's save that as a JPEG. Under quick access, role playing. Oh, no. Campaigns, Mutant Your Solo, Arc map. All right. Oh, the car deck might be interesting. Maybe there's like a rotten car in there. So I've got my Miro board here, so I'm going to upload that image I've just saved, which is under Mutant Year Zero. Nope, it's under campaigns. This one here. At the same time, I'm also gonna move over here. How can I move? Can I move? There we go. I'm also gonna upload a couple other things. Right. Alright, this needs to be locked into position. These all need to be locked so I don't accidentally move them around. Alright. Here's my arc. Cool. So, that sounds cool to me. Volkswagen bus inside the car deck. Cool. Lots of places I can hide things in there too. Relationships I can leave for now. I think we're nearly done here. Weapon, I've got a bow. It was a +1. It was 1 damage at a range of long, and it's jury rigged. Don't need to look that up. I know what it is. Got 1 mutation point because I'm starting with 1 mutation. I've got no rot points, no experience to start off with. Although my total experience, I'm going to put 25 in here because I started off with 25. I've got no armor. I've got no shield. My character sheet is done. So my character is done. My arc is done. My arc, I've got an image for my arc here. Yeah, I've got my fine pathing loaded. We're pretty much good to go. So, let's finish off the rest of the arc. Determine where in the arc the Elder lives. So let's look at that map again. And I want the Elder to live kind of near the top of that thing. So if we kind of zoom in again here on it, I mean, it makes sense for him to live in the do you call it the cabin? No, the like where the captain is of the ship. What do you call that? To the deck? No. Not the captain's quarters, but like where the main bit is, where they control everything, where they can steer the ship and all that kind of shit, right at the front. Command center. It's got a name, doesn't it? Like in Star Trek. What's it called? The bridge. The fucking bridge. Yeah, thank you. We all hit it at the same time. Okay, so I'm gonna actually put some for info here. I'm actually gonna put something in here for the arc. I'm gonna put in here the Elder is on lives in the bridge. Arc is a shipwrecked cruise liner, and I'm going to stick over here. Merge those, insert an image in the cell. All right. I'll do. Elder lives in the bridge. My den is in a VW bus on the car deck. Right. So I've got the Elder done. The bosses. Who are the bosses? I should have already established some bosses when creating our characters, because you often do NPCs as them. So the boss types 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let's roll D9 and see what kind of. We're going to roll 2D9 because we need 2 bosses. So let's do that. Roll 2D9. 4 and a 2. Whoa. Shit. 4 and 2. So we have a commander. Aha, cool. Cool. Right. We're going to have a commander. NPCs here. We're going to put... I've got the gearhead. I need it right in here too. In the arc. We have a boss, commander. I'm going to stick in here the text with that as well. We have another boss, which was on the 4 line, which should be just below it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Revolutionary. Nice. So the commander drills his underlings as if they were soldiers in an army. Does not mind getting blood on his own hands every now and then. That's good for morale. And then we have the revolutionary who wants to topple the elder once and for all, create a new fair and equal order in the arc. Wants to ban private ownership, demote all boat bosses, and introduce decision making by consensus. Awesome. Okay. This is good. I love it. Okay, let's get some names. I'm gonna use this here. I'm going to how do I do this? Mingle. We've got Abed, a female chronicler, but we're just gonna go with names and gender for now. So Abed. As soon as I see Abed, I think of we'll put Abed as a. I'm thinking of the character in Community. Yeah. And Lula, a male. I'm going to swap those names around, I think, because they don't... So Lula's a female. She's going to be the revolutionary, and Abed is going to be a male. And let's just look at those notes again. All right. And what was my gearhead's name? PC Pontiac. It's an interesting name. Okay. All right. Got my bosses. My two main bosses. That's what it said. It says... Before the game starts, describe the bosses in the arc little and even add one or two more. You should already have established some, so yeah, that's fine. Other NPCs, got them down already. I've written them down. Population, it's around 200. We're going to keep... In fact, I need to keep the population in there. It's really important. So we're going to go over here to arc, and I'm going to put here population 200. This is an important factor in this game because the population will be decreasing as time goes on, so it kind of becomes important to follow the meta plot, basically. So let me just color those in with yellow. Okay. Water source. We need a water source. It could be an old well, an uncontaminated creek, a small purification device, a collector rainwater. I like the collector rainwater that's been done on the roof. In fact, I think we kind of got a little bit of that in the artwork, possibly. Well, we can just say like on this roof, there's a lot of rainwater collectors. So water is rainwater collectors on top deck of ship. Alright, that's easy enough. What else have we got? Development levels, 12 points across the 4 development levels. 4 seasons, starting with summer. So we'll roll D4 to see what we're in. Summer, scorching summer heat. Okay. So let's put it over here. Current season. I'm gonna put this in the I will keep a journal maybe. All right, what else we got? Development levels, food supply, what they mean here. I've got 12 to distribute across them. Culture, technology, warfare. I've already got an NPC boss who is a commander, so I think warfare might be... So if I think 4 of them, 3 across each of them would be my 12 distributed. I'm going to set warfare at a 4. I'm going to make that a little bit higher than the average. I'm going to set the technology level at 4. I'm going to set the culture at... Food supply. We're going to keep food supply at 2. Yeah, so 2, 2, 4, 4. I think we'll do it like that. Here's the development levels, what they mean here. This is kind of important, actually, so I'm going to probably copy some of this over into Miro, so I don't have to keep referencing it. I need to save it first. Dev levels 1. Let's do the second one. So I'm actually, this Miro board I'm making, I'm actually going to save, so if people want to use it themselves and do their own solo games, they can just copy it. So the link I've put in the Twitch chat, if you scroll up. I'll also be putting it, if you're watching on YouTube, it'll be in the show notes. So if you want to go grab that, and you can basically make a copy. Should be able to make a copy of this board. If not, let me know. That could be a problem, and I can look at trying to do something else. I can make a GTOV board, for example. That could be an option. All right, so I'm gonna freeze these down and lock them in place. All right, so we got my development levels there for me to check on it. So anyway, they're all between year 0 and 9. So what this means for food supply is the struggle to find grub is desperate. The people only have a meager stockpile of food left, and whatever edible plants and animals they can manage to grow or kill. 1 ration of grub is typically traded for 1 bullet. That's important. Culture. With the exception of chroniclers, the people completely lack any form of cultural expression beyond tales by the trash can fire. Okay, technology. And these are all in this section. Apart from the gearheads, which is one of the NPCs I want to protect, none of the people really understand technology at all. What little the Elder has taught them has largely been forgotten. Most artifacts are incomprehensible riddles. Okay. Warfare. Apart from simple barricades, the Ark is totally defenseless against enemies from the outside. Battle level 1. I'm going to put that in here on the Ark. Battle level 1. Alright. I'm going to move this down a little bit. Why is that so fucking big all of a sudden? Whoa, what happened there? Weird. Okay, battle level 1. I know this is very much session 0. Apologies it's taking so long. The People's Project. So we're going to start. And basically, you start every game with a project that's undertaken. I think that's important. I might actually draw a threat before I start this, but you're meant to start with an assembly, which is the start of every session. As long as 1 or more PCs are in the Ark, we should hold an assembly. This means you step out of your character for a short while and instead represent the entire people. Consider as players, not as PCs, what projects you think the people should undertake. Remember, you can't start a project if the dev rating is too low. You cannot choose a project that has been completed before. And if 1 or more projects are already underway, you don't need to start a new one. Fine. And yeah. I need to create an Ark sheet, but we'll do that later. Work points. How many work points? The number of work points always multiplied by the number of PCs in your group. So 1 work point on this case. I can work on a project too. Yeah, I'm going to start without an assembly. It's going to take too long. And I've got half an hour left. I'll go a bit longer than the usual time on this stream. One thing I just wanted to add here was development levels. We wanted to put here food, dev, culture, dev, tech, dev, and warfare. We've gone with 2, 2, 4, 4. All right. Okay, so I'm going to draw a threat. Here we go. Let me just shuffle these a bit. Starfall. Suddenly, night turns into day. A light in the sky stronger than any star shoots across the night sky from east to west. The fireball disappears for an instant, darkness briefly falling over the zone again. Then the horizon suddenly lights up in a massive but silent explosion. So, west. From the east to the west. I am on the east part of the map, so that's pretty good. I'm going to keep that out here. I'm going to write this down under threat. So plots. I've got Starfall. A star... A light in the sky crashes to Earth somewhere to the west. Somewhere. Let's go to that K. All right, my first plot. Yeah. I've taken the role of the GM, and until the next time, choose my 1 work point quiz on the number of bosses. Based on the number of bosses, I've got 2 bosses, so it'll be 2 work points assigned to whatever I decide. That's fine. I'm just going to put in here projects. I didn't really want to do this, but I'm going to go with defenses, I think. Got a slave market. It's interesting. Pigsty, temple, zone wrestling. I think we're on defenses, so I'm going to put defenses down in there. And this is driven by one of the by Abed. I love that it's Abed. Right. Okay. So, I think it makes the most sense for me to go. That we've seen this light come out of the sky, and it makes sense to go explore the zone and try and basically make my way to the west and find out what that was. So I'm gonna set off into the zone. As simple as that. So let's see what happens. I'm gonna go south 1. Now this is where it gets tricky because a lot of the tension in the game is the GM has access to information that the players don't. For example, the rot level of a zone when you move into it. I'm going to be able to see that instantly as soon as I randomly generate that here. However, I've deliberately taken the rot finder talent, which allows me to, when I move into a zone, I can do something, and I will always be choosing the rot finder one to basically find out what the level is and to reduce it by 1. That's really important for survivability, but also it's one way of kind of handling the solo loop. So I think if you're not playing with a stalker, that might be a little bit difficult. Again, I think an easy role choice if you're playing solo would be boss with a stalker in the party. So yeah, just kind of explain what I'm doing. So I'm going to right click here. It automatically is creating a zone randomly. I'm not touching this. I'm going to leave it. In fact, I'm going to hit. This looks very, very similar to the previous one that it rolled. So in fact, I'm going to roll here instead of keeping what it says. And it's got a strong rot level, okay, which is interesting. It's at rot 2. So I'm gonna bring up again what it says for my for my talent. So if I go to PC, I've copied it in here for Rot Finder. When using Find a Path, you have access to a new stunt that you can choose when you roll extra 6s to find the most rot-free route through the sector. It counts as 1 step lower during the visit to the sector. Right, so I'm gonna roll. So jumping around a bit. So the first thing I do, is going to be the first roll of the game, is zone travel. Again, this channel's all about learning a game, so which is why I'm doing it like this, showing them what it says in the book. So when you each time you enter a new sector, you need to explore it. GM describes the general terrain, any prominent ruins, or etc. Right, so I need to go to find the path talent to see all the, or find the path skill to read all that. I think it's just you just roll it as soon as you enter. So I'm gonna pull up the skill thing here. Nope, that's the wrong one. Specialist skills. Find the path. The hell. Okay. When you go into a new sector of the zone, roll for find the path. So let's look at my character sheet. Roll find the path is 4 agility, 2 skill. Here we go. First roll of the game. It is exclamation point R, 4 base, 2 skill, and I can push this if I need to. Do I want to push it for more successes? I think I'm going to. With nothing. Okay. 1 success. So again, let's look at what that means. Success, you find a safe path and spot any threats in the zone before they spot you. I can't assess the general rot. So this is the thing with the rot finder. It just allows me to find a way through the rot. I actually need a stunt to be able to assess the general level of rot in there. So I'm just going to move into it and take some rot. We're going to look at how the rot rules work. So if I go to threats in the zone and expand that out, phenomenon, there is a rot thing there somewhere. Is it a different chapter? Is it a different chapter? Rot level. Here we go. How it works in chapter 8. Okay. Zone travel. That's the one. And it's right before this one, at the end of the chapter. Okay. So, strong rot. I suffer 1 rot point every hour. And how long does it take to... Okay, 1 point per hour, and it takes how long to travel through again? I was just there. Zone travel. 4 hours. So I'm going to take 4 rot, which is pretty significant. But that's fine. So I basically can spot anything in that zone. So I've found the zone. I don't know that it's 2 levels of rot. In fact, after the first hour of being in there, I'm going to take a point of rot damage. I'm going to know that it's got a high level. The threat level is 4, which means I've got the threat I can spot is that there's some cannibals in this zone. It's an ash desert. There are no ruins. Mood-wise, there's thistles. A thick undergrowth covers the sector. Boots and gear get stuck in it. Do the bushes hide some secrets? Now, I'm not allowed to look at the finds because I didn't roll high enough on my find the roll to figure that out. The picker here, there's like a desert sort of one I can find because this is an ash desert. There isn't really one. So... yeah, I've done that as well. Let them abort as soon as they've realized what it was. Ooh, save. So it's been explored. But I'm gonna push on. I'm gonna take the 4 rot. So if I go down here, we're gonna go with 4 points of rot. And I think I'm rolling that. When you enter a new sector, usually not to the rot level. Be careful, make sure you can get out quickly if you need to. When you learn the rot level, don't forget to note it down on the zone map. What frequency you take rot points? Every time you suffer a rot point, you must immediately roll a number of base dice equal to your total amount of rot points. For every 1 I roll, I suffer 1 point of damage. So we're gonna take this one step at a time. I'm gonna do it like hour by hour, and I'll figure out what I want to do here. So the first hour, I'm entering it. I'm looking around. I'm gonna spot those cannibals. I'm gonna decide what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna roll 1 base dice, and hopefully not get a 1. Okay, so I'm not taking any damage to my strength to start off with. So I've got 1 1 rot point. I spot some cannibals in the distance. Now, do I know they're cannibals? That's an interesting thing because I've actually now got to roll for Know the Zone. So humanoids, cannibals, they have a +0. So what this actually, the way this works is, I'm trying to find the rule here for it. It's this bit here. When PCs meet a threat in the zone, they can roll for the Know the Zone skill to know something about it. For every threat, there is a modification to the roll. Blah, 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 blah. The modification is indicated. So, yeah. And this is kind of cheating a little bit, I guess, because I'm a GM. I've run this before. I know what the cannibals are all about. And I've got to look up their stats if I want to use them. So this is where this kind of falls down a little bit, but you've got to keep yourself immersed in the fiction, right? So Know the Zone is 3 and 1. So I spot some people in the distance. Let's see if I know what they actually, if I know, figure out how much I know about them. So I'm going to roll 3 base, 1 skill. I'm not going to push that because I don't want to be taking any damage yet. If I was to push that, I would definitely take 1 wits damage. And at the moment, because I'm going to be rolling like Know the Zone and Scout probably a little bit. I don't want to take it this early on, even though it would give me an extra mutation point. So I'm going to leave that for now. I see some people up ahead. I don't know anything about them. And I'm going to say for now, I've seen them. I rolled the successful find the zone. Find the path, sorry. And because of the terrain having this kind of, I said it was an ash. This is kind of a little bit weird that it's an ash desert, but that it also has these thistles, right? I'm gonna say that I can move through the thick undergrowth without being seen. But in fact, can I be seen? I'm gonna roll sneak to see how well I move through here. In fact, this is where I could actually use the oracle, and I could say, well, no. It actually the solo rules actually states if you're trying to it even uses sneak as an example. If you're trying to move past someone, then use this. Or if you're trying to use something where there's a skill for it, use the rules in the game. You roll the 66 when you're asking the oracle question, right? And we could do that if the cannibals see me and we can see how they react to me. I'm assuming cannibals would want to kill me and eat me, so this could be very short. So I'm actually going to roll sneak to see how well I can sneak past them. I'm going to get some modifications to this because I'm not actually trying to. In fact, the rules for the game are kind of like you sneaking to. Well, in combat, it's like sneaking to sneak up on someone. I can't remember if it's. It's been a long time since I've looked at this game. Okay. I'm rolling sneak against scout. So if I fail, yeah. Their scout, I think, is canceling out any successes. For every... So you're able to make out what it is and it appears... Yeah, so anyway. So I'm going to roll my scout skill. Or, no, my sneak skill. So that's 4 base dice and 2 skill. Did I keep 2 skill in that? I did. Okay. 3 successes. So that's pretty bloody good. Yeah, exactly. So I'm trying to sneak past them at first. And we're going to go with... That's true. I've spotted people in the zone. I'm close to the arc. Maybe it's somebody I could trust. I'm going to sneak up closer to them, I think. Try and get a better look at them. So what is their scout? Their scout... They don't have any skill in scout, so they're just rolling their base wits, which is 3, so they get to roll 3. I mean, they have to get all 3 6s to cancel mine out. So I think that's probably unlikely. Yeah. So I've got a stunt with that. So if I go back, so that's 1 success. So they've canceled out one of my 6s. I've got a basic success with a stunt. If I look at the skills, and go to sneak, stunts. When setting up a sneak attack, you get a -1 modification to your first attack for every extra. Okay. I'm not trying to do that, so I'm just going to go with the fiction and go with I'm trying to get closer to find out what I see. So let's first roll how many there are. I'm going to do a d6 to see how many cannibals there are. 3. Yeah, that makes sense that it's a +1 and not a -1. I was just wondering about that, but all good. So we're going to say here in my journal, saw a star hit the ground, which seemed to crash to the west, entered the first zone to the south, saw some people, but decided to stay low. I guess I've just I don't really have much to trade. I'm going to get closer to them, see what I can see. So there's 3 of them. And with that, with quite a good sneak skill, I'm just going to hand wave it a bit and say that I'm able to get close enough to hear what they're talking about. So this is where we're going to use the Oracle for the first time. And for the Oracle, I'm going to be rolling over here. I'm going to be rolling on this thing here. So what are they discussing? I'm going to roll a 2d6 followed by a d66. Roll 2d6 plus d66. Is that going to work? It's a 2d6. So I've rolled a 9. A 9 says strange. Strange, and then we're going to roll d66. 41. Strange abusing. Eavesdropped on the strangers. Strange abusing. They're talking about abusing. They're talking about a strange creature they had managed to trap, and the cruel punishments they were inflicting on it. So they've captured something in the zone, and they're talking about you know, torturing it basically. So I'm realizing that these are people I probably want to avoid. They sound quite cruel. Not people I necessarily want to trade with if they're the type of people who are kind of torturing animals that they're finding. So yeah, abusing somebody's liver. We're gonna leave it. We're gonna leave them. We're gonna continue on our way. However, I'm gonna roll one more. I'm gonna take another point of rot. I'm now rolling 2d6, or two base dice actually. I'm still good. I continue on my way to get through the to go kind of get through this. I'm not finding anything. I'm progressing along my way. I'm gonna roll my 3rd. Still good. I'm gonna roll my 4th now. Okie doke. I've got 4 rot points. I've not taken a single point of strength damage. This is a good start, although I've got 4 rot, which is pretty bad. Yeah. So it's interesting that this is close to my arc. In fact, sorry, I wanted to actually I wanted to change this now. Because I've got pack mule, there's no reason to leave anything behind. I haven't got many belongings. I'm going to take all the water with me in case I need it. All right, so I have successfully explored my first path, for my first zone sector. I'm now going to move off. I kind of following the coastline a bit. We'll say, kind of going down from the ship. I'm now going to head off to the east as I'm kind of traveling. Fenhorn, you're my kind of rules expert here. Save me looking things up. Am I allowed to move diagonals? I think you can, but I'm not 100% sure. I'll do a little bit of cheating here. Yep, yep. Okay, I'm gonna go in this one then, because this actually takes me a little bit too close to the. Well, there is a bit of. Fuck it. I'll move into this one first. It's always come up with this first one. So I'm always re-rolling this one when I enter. So I'm hitting the roll button. It's been reset. Cool. I've already noticing the rot levels one. I'm just staring at that number, seeing if it changes. There's no threat here. Anyway, I don't know that yet. So I'm going to hit explored on this. I'm going to then roll my find the path, which again is 4 and 2. So let's go and do that. So roll the dice, 4 base, 2 skill. Whoops. 2 successes. Let's push that. 4 successes, but I take 1 point of agility damage. That's fine. So I've got 1 fatigue. I've got 4 successes. Now that's incredible. I've got 3 stunts on that. So I'm really going to go to town on this. Let's look at the skill here. I'm going to use, first of all, my Rot Finder to reduce the thing by 1. So let's see. What am I looking for here? Specialist skill, find the path. So for every stunt beyond the first, you can choose one. So I'm using my first of 3 stunts to reduce the rot, to find like a clean way through the rot, to reduce that by 1. So I'm just having a quick look here. Yeah, extra food could be good. I've only got 4 units of grub I got to eat every day. So if there's an artifact in the sector, it's there to be found. I can assess the general level of rot in the sector. This is interesting. Like, I don't think I need to assess the level of rot just to move through it and reduce it by 1. So I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna say I'm just finding my way like around the rot, kind of. I kind of want bullets. I kind of want some more bullets, even though I've got a bow because it's money. What do I want? Right. I have to eat or drink for every point of strength agility. My agility is the only thing broken right now. I've got 8 water, so I'm okay with water. I've got zone cook, so I can cook the rot out of the food, which is good. Half the time, maybe. You rush through it in a quarter of the time, avoiding all threats, but it doesn't count as being explored. Right, I'm going to go for... Okay, I can do 3 of these things, right? I've 2 extra ones, right? So let's look at what's available. There's an artifact here, so we're going to go for that. And I think I said I was going to go for grub. So grub and artifact. So, fine. How much grub did it say? 6 grub. Cool. Right, so I'm going to add 6 grub. I find 6 grub in the zone. But this is contaminated grub. And it's actually, technically, it is on 2 lines. So let's do this by the book. Because I can only have 4 of any food or water in a single line. And artifact time. Look at this massive deck of artifact cards here. So I'm going to shuffle these a bit. I'm also assuming I set off at first light. There's always a discussion on how many zones you can cover in one day. And I will want to find some shelter. One thing I didn't look at was the mood of the terrain and the mood of this zone I was in. Forgot to do that. I was so excited about finding his rot level of 1. Okay, so artifact time. Boom. Those are the... I mean, this is what you get. I found a comic book. Yay. Tiny item. Boom, boom, boom. Comic book. All right, it's going to increase the culture though of my arc by D6 when I bank it in there. So let's put this in my journal. Avoided the strangers and left the high rot zone. Found a comic book and 6 grub in the next zone. All right. That's taking me 4 hours. So if we think like how much what does the book say about how many I can explore in a day? Does it have like summertime? I can't remember any of this stuff. I should have probably reread a little bit of this. Zone travel. Time and travel. It takes 4 hours to explore. Okay, I mean, it shouldn't really... I can figure this out by myself. Okay, so if I'm splitting the day up into segments of 4, then if I started, I'll make a little clock for this. Let's say I set out at 8 a.m. It was 12 p.m. when I got out of the first zone. It's now 4 p.m. I'm coming out of this next one. Yeah, I'm gonna assume I'm gonna be resting for 8 hours in this first day, especially because I've got rot. I'm not feeling too well. So I'm trying to go to the west. I'm trying to get to the west. I'm trying to find. I guess I'm looking for some sort of like a boat. There's this water here. I'm trying to find some sort of a boat. So I'm gonna go south here. I don't think it's gonna take me 4 hours because I know what the zone looks like. We're gonna say I'm gonna stick to the zone for 1 hour in case it's got high rot. If I find a boat and I'm going to stay in this, then we can stay in it for longer and the rot's going to apply. Alright, so 4 then, unless I've got wits to recover. So, let's roll. Sorry, before I roll for this, I wanted to just look at what I was in here. Crumbling ruins, a museum. Okay, this is interesting. And there's a victim, a corpse, hanged or bound to a pole. Who did this and why? I think this is pretty obvious. This is possibly the strange creature that the cannibals have found and were torturing. And why don't we say that this is a... Ooh, any ideas? I mean, could it be a zone ghoul? It could be a beast man type of thing. Humanoids. An amnesiac, a beast mutant, a cannibal, a doom cultist, an exiled mutant, an expedition from another arc, a hell driver, a Morlock. It could be a Morlock actually. Why wouldn't the cannibal eat them? Maybe they have been chewing on it. Maybe there's like been some bite marks and things. These are wild mutants from lost arcs who've taken refuge underground. Probably not. I want something that's a bit unusual because I want this to tie into the I want to tie into the cannibals that we just I just came across. So something strange, the strange thing that they were kind of torturing and stuff. We're gonna go with the beast mutants because I think that's pretty cool. And no. We're gonna go with what's the creature that can swim really well? A reptile. So we're finding the victim is a crocodile person. It looks like a crocodile, but with like human hands and arms, wearing like human clothes that have been ripped open, and we'll say the stomach has been cut open, or like the whole torso has been cut open, and there's like some half-eaten bits of organs like lying on the ground. So obviously the cannibals had tried eating it, but maybe, I don't know, they didn't finish it. So it's like kind of half been eating it raw, etc. So found a comic book in the next zone. Also the ruins of a museum. In fact, found the ruins of a museum, and that's where I found the comic book, we can say. With and a comic book inside, but also a staked corpse of a crocodile man. which appears to have been partially eaten. Connections are starting with, you know, GenLab Alpha sort of things. Yeah, Big Saurian, exactly. Yeah, and going with the crocodile, exactly as Fenhorn has suggested, Zone Compendium 1 in English is all about Saurians, so we can tie in some interesting events from there. Okay, right. I'm going into the next zone. Let's see what I find in the next zone. I'm gonna roll this first. Okay, then I'm gonna do find the path. By the way, I pushed the roll and I took 1 damage to agility, which means I also get, I forgot to mention, I also get 1 additional mutation point for that. So I actually have 2 mutation points now. All right, what did I find? I found a tank. I found a tank in this little small zone, this explored zone here. A massive and awe-inspiring metal vehicle blocks the path. Its enormous tracks have rusted, stuck long ago, and no death or destruction has spewed out from its cannon for many decades. But coming close to this metal beast still strikes fear into the heart of almost any zone wanderer. So I'm scared. Thick fog blankets the area. Visibility is reduced to a few yards and sounds muffled. What lurks in the fog? All right, let's roll to see how well I can navigate in this foggy area. Now my agility is reduced by 1, so I only get 3 this time. But I still get the it's roll 3 base, 2 skill. Again, if you're wondering where I'm rolling again, it's this find the path. 4 agility, both 1 fatigue. I've only got 3 plus 2. So let's see how well I do. I'm gonna stick with just the 2, I think. Yeah. So I'm successful. I will be able to spot the Scrap Oracle, which is the threat in the zone, before the Scrap Oracle sees me. And I'm going to look for, I'm going to do another artifact. I'm going to look for an artifact. I'm going to climb into the tank and see what's inside the tank. Doing a quick little shuffle of the artifact deck again. I'm going to take the top 1 after I've done a little shuffle. I find a cube. A pitch black, inconspicuous plastic cube from the old age. There are a few buttons and a display on one side. And I don't know what it does, because I haven't rolled... In fact, the comic book, I don't know what the comic book does exactly. It's just a book full of pictures. But I've got an MMO cube. And how big is it? It doesn't say, so I'm going to assume it's the normal size. So we're going to put here artifact black cube. Cool. So I can't really know anything else about that until I roll for comprehend. In fact, I'm going to roll for comprehend straight away, I think, for both of them. So I get 3 plus 1 for comprehend. So we're going to go with the comic book first. Roll 3 base, 1 skill. I'm not going to push that roll for my wits. Not yet. Anyway, I don't think I need to. So the comic book just looks like a book full of pictures, but I like the pictures, maybe that's why I'm keeping it. Now I'm going to roll for the for this black cube. Aha, I've got a 6. Now, should I push this? What happens with stunts? Okay, I'm just going to stick with that. I'm not going to push it. I can understand the nature or function of the object. If it's an artifact, I can use it. So, it's an MMO cube. Yeah, I can teach others what it is. That's what this stunt says. Cool. Effect. So it says, this wondrous device can record and replay human emotions. Effect. During recording, sensory impressions from all 5 senses are recorded from whoever has their hand on the cube. When replaying them, the user experiences these impressions exactly as if they had been his own. The effect is disconcerting and inflicts d6 points of confusion the first time. The cube can hold 4 hours of recordings. Electronic artifact. I'm gonna use it to figure out how it works. Something has been recorded on it, and we actually use the Oracle to figure out what. But the first time I'm going to do that, I'm going to roll this d6 points of confusion, which is wits damage. And this could break me. Haha! I'm not broken. I've got 1 wits left. 2 points of confusion. I was a little bit concerned there. Whew! Okay, I know what it is. So let's ask the Oracle. We're going to go over here. We're going to say, so Oracle, I have to ask it yes or no questions. Was the recording that I experienced of somebody who used it recently 66? No, 6 base dice. That's what it has to be. That's a yes. There's no yes but, no yes and. So it's just a yes. So this was used by somebody recently. Okay. Was the recording used to record something? Well, no. In fact, let's roll this 2d6, and then also the d66 to see the nature of what happened. See if we can figure something else. So I've got a 9 plus a 45. We got strange again. Strange and 45 is opening. A strange opening. And opening doesn't necessarily mean opening can be not in the physical sense. It could be somebody opening up about something. Yeah, 8 hours of sleep with the wits damage I took, definitely. Yeah, I'm not thinking of anything right now. Strange opening. Any ideas with strange opening? What if I flip the numbers around from being a 45 to a 54? Dividing. Strange dividing. Dividing and opening. Okay, that's kind of interesting. I mean, we can go with something physical. Just say, this is meant to pique the imagination anyway. Somebody was holding this and recording this thing when they were going back down LSD. Found some kind of sinkhole in the ground or some opening in the ground, and they had no idea what it was, and there was something strange about it, and they felt a little bit like I was able to sense the emotions of them feeling really scared and anxious about something coming out of that hole. And because it talks about you're able to experience all these impressions, all 5 senses are recorded. I can hear the sound of something moving down at the bottom of this hole. So we're going to put this into here in my journal. And we're going to say entered a new zone and found a tank with an MMO cube inside. Took 2 wits damage, but learned of a recent person using it who found a weird sinkhole. Okay, right, now I've got there's basically I've spotted that there's a threat in the zone, which is a scrap was a scrap oracle. So we're going to look up the scrap oracle entry here. And I'm actually going to roll for know the zone for the scrap oracle, but first we're going to look it up very quickly. I'm aware that I'm over time too, so I'll try and wrap this up a little bit with sleeping. Scrap oracle, I get a -1 to this roll. So if I go back to wits, my wits is 1 now because I've taken 2 damage. So yeah, know the zone. I'm rolling 1 + 1 for this. 1 base, 1 skill. Let's push it. Shit, why did I push it? If I get a 1, I'm broken. I have no idea who this person is. So let's look for description and not look much further. A short and stocky mutant dressed in a bizarre outfit made of scrap of all shapes and sizes. Right, I'm not going to look any further than that. I already looked a little bit too far. So I'm going to avoid them. And now I'm going to ask... I can't avoid them because of... in this zone, there was an odd short mutant with scraps wearing bizarre scraps of clothes. Oh, I rolled too many as well. I was meant to get a -1 on that roll. Oh, it looks like I may have glitched out there on my feed. Apologies. I forgot. I had a -1 to that roll, so I should have only rolled my base die and not my and not the skill die. But it doesn't matter. I didn't get it anyway. Decided to avoid them. Okay. Next thing to say is to ask the Oracle. I'm gonna ask the Oracle again. Oracle, is there a boat in this zone along the coast anywhere? Ouch. That's 3 1s. That's a no and. So this is pretty bad, right? Or there certainly are no boats. We can even say God, I don't know. Any thoughts about how it's like no and? Like, I haven't seen any sign of boats at all for quite a while to get across this lake or this body of water to the other side. But at this point, I'm taking another point of rot damage because it's a rot level 1. Yeah, I think I could have checked for a boat in the previous zone up here. I didn't think to look at it. What we can say is, I mean, maybe that was the first. Maybe we can do that as the first roll. Was there a boat there? It's not necessarily. Well, yeah, the rot is toxic. You shouldn't be swimming in water. No. I think the water is toxic. Actually, I don't think you want to swim around in the water. Well, let's say I think it's toxic anyway. I'm not prepared to find out, especially when I've got so much rot already. Rot level is 1 rot per day. Okay, so if I'm not spending time in this, we're gonna I've only spent an hour. We're gonna say in this actual zone. So far I've spent 4, 8, 9 hours. We'll say I've spent 2 hours actually. 1 hour like looking around in the tank, and another hour to look for a boat, which I don't find any. So I'm going to say I've spent 10 hours, started at 10, so it's 6 p.m. I need to sleep for 8 hours. So I think what's going to happen is I'm going to go back to this zone here, C22. I'm going to go back into the museum. And so yeah, I think, am I glitching out? Can anyone just confirm if my video is freezing up? Because it looks like it is on my OBS like control panel. Somebody can. Not sure if anybody heard me. Is my video glitching? Am I freezing? Okay, it's just freezing up on my end then for some reason. It's a bit odd. Very, very odd. Maybe I got too much running. I'm just gonna look at my RAM use very quickly. I've got 16 gig of RAM and I'm only using half of it, so it should be okay. My CPU is only at 12%. I don't know what's going on. All right. Anyway, so I'm gonna go back to C22 and I'm gonna rest there for the whole day, and also because I want to finish the stream as well. Um, so I'm camping overnight in the museum. I'm going to eat and drink both one food and one grub and water. I'm gonna also cook. I'm gonna spend some time to cook the rot out of the contaminated food I found. So the way that works is zone cook. I can purify contaminated water, and I can cook food, etc. So I need to roll to know the zone every 6. So I'm gonna do that in the morning after I've recovered my wits. So yeah, so I'm using one of my I'm using one of my rationed grubs, and I'm using one of my rationed waters here. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. I need 1 water to heal my agility trauma, plus 1. So I need the 1 anyway, plus the 1 to heal the. So I'm just gonna show you where that says that, because there are been a lot of changes to how some of these things like trauma healing works, etc. So if we go to the conflict and trauma section, down to recovery, and it says here, you need to rest for at least 4 hours, and you need to use the resource depending on the type of trauma. So a ration of water per point of agility restored, and I need at least 4 hours of sleep to restore wits. But it's like in addition to everything else, is how I understand that. Yeah, the resources needed for recovery come on top of your daily needs of grub, water, and sleep. And you need to have 1 grub, 1 water, and 4 hours of sleep every day. So that's fine. So I need to take off 2 waters and not 3, because that's one as the normal requirement and 1 to heal my agility. So I'm also spending. I'm gonna sleep. What we'll do is we'll sleep. I'll cook the grub in the morning, and we'll find out if anyone comes across me in the night. So I'm gonna ask the Oracle. How's my hair? Shit, I didn't think about empathy. With my comic book. Which I don't. I failed my. I need a teddy bear. Yeah. Teddy bear does allow you to do that. So, yeah, comic book doesn't. Unfortunately, I can't heal my empathy with a comic book. So, because I also failed my comprehend roll on the thing. Maybe yeah, we'll figure something out. For now, we're gonna play with that. We're gonna run with the failure to heal empathy. I'm just thinking that this actually this is part of the reason of trying it with solo as it's been written for this from this document, this Mutineer solo, is solo play works best if you only control a single PC rather than an entire party. However, I think the boss role would actually work the best in this circumstance, where you could actually have, like, let's say, 2 underlings, hirelings, companions, whatever you want to call them, which are just kind of you're role playing the boss, but you've got these additional characters with you, and I think that would probably be the best way of handling this. Exactly, I could always go back to the arc. Go chat with the cannibals. A mediocre dad there. Reading Scrooge McDuck reduces your empathy. Yeah. Unless you're from Sweden. I'm actually in Stockholm, right? So the Swedes love their ducks. So in fact, in Germany as well, like if you look for these like little digest size comic books that are really thick, here in Germany, I've heard it's the same in Sweden. Like, they are mad on Donald Duck comics. Like, they still sell them now, like tons and tons of them. It's bizarre. I've never come across it in any other country I've been in. But anyway, enough about chatting about ducks. We're gonna kind of tie the stream up a little bit. One thing I just wanted to look at is my journal here. I spent an hour looking for a boat on the coast, but couldn't find any sign. Went back to the previous zone, back to the previous sector, and camped for the night in the museum. Okay, so what I wanted to ask is, I'm going to ask the Oracle if anything, if anybody comes across me in the night. So, how do I want to word this? Because if it has to answer like a yes or a no, and it has to be like yes and no, yes and yes but, no and no but, etc. So I'm going to ask it. I'm going to ask the Oracle. Yeah, I'm just gonna say, does anybody find me in the museum at night? And if it's a yes but, I'm gonna lay out the stakes for myself here. If it's a yes but, the yes but is gonna be it's probably somebody who's hostile. If it's a yes and, then maybe it's somebody who's friendly. And if it's a yes, then who knows? I'm gonna make it a bit random. Plain yes. Interesting. So somebody found me in the night. Oh my god. Hmm. You know what I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with somebody found me in the night, but they didn't disturb me. They left me, but I found signs of them in the morning when I wake up that somebody had been kind of walking around. Maybe I set up some sort of, you know, sprinkled some dust or something around the floor outside the room I was in to see if any tracks had been left, or you know, took some hairs out and like placed them in front of doors or something, so if it broke then I knew something had crossed over. So something has been something has found me sleeping but didn't wake me up, and I don't know what's happened. So I'm gonna add that to my journal, and this is gonna be a little plot twist that might come up. So Tony, thanks for coming. I'm going to spend a little bit more time before the next one to just kind of make this look a little bit more interesting. I'm going to spend a little bit of time on the Miro board. I'm going to have some trackers for like time and stuff, because it's obviously I forgot that you can kind of the time is in hourly segments, so I think having a time tracker is going to be really important here, etc. Yeah, cool. So I'm going to be finishing up anyway in a second. I just wanted to kind of finish off my journal for the day. So we're saying here that someone or something seemed to have come close to where I was sleeping. But didn't disturb me. Who could it have been? Okay. So we're ending it with woke up the next morning and cooked the grub I'd found the night before. Plus X grub. Let's roll for some grub, and then we're going to be finished here. And I'm rolling for Know the Zone. I'm healed now as well. I didn't heal that before because I wasn't sure if I was going to be woken up by cannibals who were going to take me prisoner and take me, I don't know, try and eat me. So I'm rolling for Know the Zone, so 3 + 1. 3 base, 1 skill. How much grub can I... Oh, hold on a second before I do that. Let me just reread it. Roll to Know the Zone. Every 6 purifies a d6, so I can push this if I want. No. I think I'll stick with a single d6. Do I want to push it? Yes, pushing it. Fuck. Ah, 1 more mutation point. That's fine. So I've taken 1 more damage to wits. So I'm rolling 1d6. 5. Cool. So I'm going to say I've used up all this grub. I've now got 5, so that's 8 actually, so which is quite nice to handle here. 4 and 4. And this one's gone now. So in fact, I'm just going to clear this. I don't want to try and keep moving them around all the time. So I've got an empty slot here. All right, so my grub is now up to 8. Water is at 6. I've still my 5 bullets, my 5 arrows. I'm going to call this an artifact. Comic book. And we're going to stop there. I've got 1 confusion damage. Cooks the grub I found the night before, plus 5 grub. But couldn't shake the thought of someone watching me in my sleep. -1 wits. I'm pushing. Alright, and last thing I need to do is add another mutation point, because that was my 3rd one. Hamed. I just read hammed for some reason. Yeah, so this is what's happened. Like, it's kind of interesting, right? I'm asking questions. I've got this oracle to answer things. I've tried out a few of these things, like the result here, where it came up with this, like, the strange abusing with cannibals, which worked really well. I then found the strange thing that they'd been abusing, which also kind of worked out quite nicely. So it's kind of interesting to see. You're making lots of random rolls about things, and you're trying to make connections as much as possible, and I think that's really interesting. So yeah, I'm going to be continuing with this. I'm going to try. I think that before the next one I do, I will be definitely trying to make things look a little bit more fancy. I'm going to put an actual arc. I'll make an arc sheet that kind of looks similar to this one I've got here for my character sheet, so I can track things according to how the arc sheets look. But other than that, yeah, mostly done. So if you're watching or lurking, or if you've not been a part of this show before, or not seen this show before, and you're on Twitch, if you could hit the follow button, that's really helpful for the channel. Keeps me motivated. It also means every time I go live, you'll get an alert in your email inbox. If you're watching this on YouTube, if you can hit the subscribe button and like the video, that also would be really helpful for me. In terms of what's coming next, I've got some exciting news. Next Sunday at the same time, I'm going to be I'm going to be playing in a game that my friend Ed is going to be GMing of Twilight 2000, the new game by Free League. We've been lucky enough to be given access to the manuscript to plan out a campaign. Ed is one of the players in our Forbidden Lands campaign on this channel. He's also has GM'd a campaign of Twilight 2000 in the 90s for, I think it lasted for like 2 years. So he's very familiar with the game itself. He's a perfect person to be GMing. So yeah, one of the players as well, Charlotte, she used to be in the military as well, so it's kind of cool to have somebody in the military joining as a player. Nobody else, the rest of the 3 players have no military experience, so that'll be interesting. But that's really exciting. So the Twilight 2000 campaign, Kickstarter campaign is running right now, and we're going to be running our first session, in fact, next Sunday. So tune in if that sounds exciting to you. I run this stream or this channel. I record content twice a week on a Thursday evening and on a Sunday evening. So I will be recording something this coming Thursday, but it's likely to be a Pitchfork development diary. I'm developing a game called Pitchfork, which is kind of like a mashup of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay and Call of Cthulhu, but without the mythos and using the Year Zero engine. So you're playing commoners in a pseudo medieval society, which is kind of Warhammer feeling because it's set in Germany, which is where I live. Actually, I'm in Germany right now. So yeah, it's come quite a far away. It's almost to the stage where it's ready to be play tested. I just needed to spend a little bit of time on it to push it over that edge, to get it play tested, and there's just a few things left to sort that out. So yeah, I'll be doing that on Thursday and seeing, taking one more step closer to finish. So yeah, that's me. Thank you very much for watching, for tuning in, and yeah, I will catch you all next time. Bye bye.